Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we have another action-packed comic review with Skybound's Transformers number 12. And there's more media news as the Transformers 1 release date approaches. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2024, and this is episode 407 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that thinks if you're going to cast a voice for the Transformers version of the Silver Surfer, it might as well be Matthew McConaughey. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
All right. Let's talk Transformers.
I figured you were going to say that, so I didn't.
That was a spot-on Matthew McConaughey impression. I dare you to do better.
All right.
It's terrible.
I mean,
it's terrible.
Closer to the south.
Yeah, he's got the regional accent, Daryl. How are you going to beat that?
I'm married to a Texan.
All right.
You're getting worse.
Alrighty then.
Howdy.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support this podcast. And we really appreciate all the support. Thank you for doing it either on Patreon or PayPal. However you contribute really helps out the show. Thank you so much. If you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support to sign up. Of course, as a Donatron, you get lots of perks, including bonus content like our bonus show, We Like Big Bots, and that's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants. We've got 14 episodes up right now on our Patreon page, and more should be on the way, we hope. Crossing our fingers. If you would like more, just send an email to Daryl@transmissionspodcast.com. Let him know. We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And we are in season 3 of that. The latest episode is episode 123, As Easy As. And that just came out this week. So it's available at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And the bonus version of episode 124 will be out this coming Monday. So just a couple days from now, as you're listening to this. So if you are a Donatron, you'll get access to episode 124, the raw, uncut bonus version this Monday. And then you'll have to wait another week for the final edited version for everyone else on the free feed. So look forward to that. We've also still got copies of our exclusive Skybound Transformers number 1 comic with artwork by EJ Sue. You can get that at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. That's available. Coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Transformers from Skybound. We're actually reviewing issue 12 this week. So coming full circle. And it's been an exciting year for Transformers comics. And lastly, of course, we've still got our promo code at toyhacks.com. So if you want to save 15% off all your orders at toyhacks.com, use our code TF1. That is TFONE. And use that code as many times as you like throughout the month of September. And you can use it for any purchase, as many purchases as you need. And it cannot be combined with any other promo codes, but it can be used with your Robo Points if you have some of those. So definitely take advantage of that. All right. Well, with this week, we don't have any comics news, so we're going to jump right into our comic review. So this week we are reviewing Transformers number 12. This will be a full spoiler review for Transformers number 12. We always do full spoiler reviews. So if you haven't read the comic yet, you might want to stop the video or stop the podcast and read it first, then come back. Or if you don't care, just listen to this. So we are going to summarize it, and then we'll talk about everything that happened in this issue. So this is Transformers number 12. Writer, Daniel Warren Johnson. Artist, Jorge Corona. Colorist, Mike Spicer. Letterer, Russ Wooten. Editor, Ben Abernathy. Publication design, Andre Suarez. And production, Ashby Florence. So starting off, from the Ark, Carly watches via Teletran 1 and Optimus Prime's remote first-person view the Autobots' attack on the Decepticons in the middle of the ocean floor. She sees how desperate the situation with Devastator once again activated and her friend Cliffjumper in Soundwave's clutches. Shockwave rallies the Decepticons to finish the Autobots once and for all. He transforms into his gun mode, which Soundwave grabs and opens fire. The Autobots fight back, but they're pinned down and taking heavy fire. Ultra Magnus, one of their strongest warriors, appears to have abandoned them in a PTSD-induced panic attack. Wheeljack asks Optimus if he can remotely activate the charges set in the Decepticons' base, but Optimus says he can't blow them, or Cliffjumper will be caught in the blast. It looks like this might be their last stand. But Carly hasn't given up on them. In the Ark, she jumps in her van and drives through the still open teleportation portal directly to the battlefield at the bottom of the ocean. She drives her van off a ledge and slams it into Soundwave's body, forcing him to drop Shockwave's gun mode and release Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper rides on the hood of Carly's van as they drive away, but they don't get far. Devastator stomps on the back of Carly's van, crushing it. Cliffjumper was thrown clear, and he quickly gets up to grab Carly out of the destroyed vehicle and throw her clear as Devastator stomps on the van again, catching Cliffjumper underfoot. The Autobots use the distraction to press a counterattack, while an enraged Devastator kicks the mangled van and Cliffjumper through the Decepticon space bridge portal. Ironically, Devastator's kick helps the Autobots as the van wreckage and Cliffjumper slam into the Combaticons on the other side of the portal, keeping them from joining the battle on Earth. While Devastator gloats over his attack on Cliffjumper, he doesn't notice Optimus Prime swimming through the ocean water vortex behind him to come out above him and blast Devastator in the face with Megatron's fusion cannon. He signals Elita 1, who in motorcycle mode fires a grappling hook that wraps around Devastator's legs. He loses his balance like an AT-AT on Hoth and falls into the Decepticons' harvesting machine, crushing it and destroying it. Shockwave howls in rage at the destruction of his masterpiece. He runs through the space bridge portal to get Decepticon reinforcements from Cybertron. Wheeljack tells Prime that the Harvester was applying all the energy to keep the giant portal open that brought Cybertron close to Earth. With the Harvester destroyed, Cybertron will slowly return back through the portal to its own location in the galaxy. So there's no time to waste. Optimus runs through the portal back to Cybertron to rescue Cliffjumper, vowing never to leave him behind again. The Combaticons have Cliffjumper at their mercy, while Shockwave orders them to dispose of the Autobot and then get back to Earth to finish off the rest. But before they can act, Optimus Prime is there, and he's pissed. The three Combaticons on Cybertron are no match for an Optimus Prime filled with righteous fury. He wrecks all three Decepticons simultaneously, and they immediately retreat, running for their lives. Shockwave curses their cowardice, and Optimus turns to him. He tells him to come on and finish this. Shockwave tries again to use Cliffjumper as a bargaining chip, aiming his gun arm at Cliffjumper's head. But before he can even make a threat, Optimus fires a blast from his laser rifle, destroying Shockwave's gun arm completely. And Optimus is not done. He's had enough of Shockwave killing everything he touches. Prime loses control. He jumps on Shockwave and pummels him endlessly over and over. As Optimus is caught in the throes of a berserker rage, he has another vision of Spike as an infant cradled in his giant robotic hands. But then some kind of technovirus infects him and the baby, spreading into him and mutating them both. The vision overwhelms Prime's processor, and he doesn't realize that he has his hands around Shockwave's head, squeezing it tighter and tighter. Prime's hands keep squeezing, and Shockwave's head buckles under the pressure. It is crushed and completely destroyed. Shockwave is no more. Optimus Prime returns to his senses and is taken aback by what he has done. But Elita 1 has followed him through the portal back to Cybertron, and she congratulates him on his victory. But Prime doesn't want to be the ruthless killer and soldier he once was on the battlefield. He doesn't know what came over him in that moment, but it doesn't matter. Cliffjumper is safe and he picks up his wounded friend. They have to get back to Earth before Cybertron returns to its original location and the portal closes. He walks back to return to Earth and their new home. But not so fast. Alita 1 shoots the portal with her gun, destroying it. She tells Prime he's already home. Prime doesn't understand this betrayal, but Alita 1 explains they need Optimus Prime and his leadership to turn the tide of the war on Cybertron. The Autobot resistance needs him and all the Energon harvested from Earth. Prime is horrified. He doesn't want to continue to bleed all the life from Earth to fuel Cybertron. He quickly tries to activate the explosive charges and destroy the still functioning part of the harvester machine, still sucking up the ocean life on Earth. But Alita tells him not to bother. She never set the explosive charges in the first place, so they will continue to take the energy from Earth to save Cybertron. She begs Prime to stay and continue the fight for Cybertron, to honor all the Autobots who have already died so that their deaths will mean something. But Prime is unmoved. He tells her that Earth needs him and the Autobots, but Alita begs that the Autobots need him on Cybertron. She needs him. But Optimus Prime sadly says he's sorry and raises his fusion cannon arm to aim at the giant tanks filled with the harvested Energon. She begs him one last time not to abandon them again, and he fires. The Energon explodes, immediately severing the space bridge connection. A sliver of the surface of Cybertron is sliced off the planet. Alita 1 is thrown back to Cybertron alone. She realizes with despair that Optimus chose Earth over Cybertron. In the upper atmosphere of the Earth, Optimus Prime is left floating helplessly as the remaining piece of Cybertron breaks apart. Optimus is caught in the Earth's gravity and starts to burn up in the atmosphere as he falls. In his last moments, he sees the beauty of the planet Earth from above. He thinks this will be the last thing he sees before his spark is extinguished. But he's wrong. Beachcomber has a flying surfboard that has ridden the ocean waves that were sending the harvested Energon back to Cybertron. There's just enough time for him to grab Optimus and ride the dissipating waves back to bring him safely back to Earth. But they're not the only things that come back to Earth. The piece of Cybertron's surface also comes back to fall into the ocean. And Optimus Prime asks himself in despair, what have I done? To be continued. So that is the close of the second story arc for Transformers. Again, it's a pretty fast-paced and exciting issue. Daniel Warren Johnson definitely knows how to do an action set piece and really ramp up the excitement. For the most part, I enjoyed the book. The artwork, of course, is great. Jorge Corona does a great job with the art. It's very dynamic, and I think it was it was just really a nonstop from start to finish. Very exciting. But I think the problem is if this is supposed to be like the end of an arc, we don't get kind of the closure that I was expecting for the story. Like I appreciate that the story is very action packed. We get a lot of stuff happening, but I would have liked to resolve some of those dangling threads. I mean, I know it's an ongoing comic, so we're going to get more story. The next issue is coming next month, of course. But if you're putting this into a trade and you're expecting to get to the end of this story arc at the end of the trade, you got a couple big things that you left unanswered here. Like, I mean, the whole time throughout these past few issues, there's been a lot of story dedicated to Cliffjumper and everyone trying to, Cliffjumper being captured, then Carly and her reaction, like to wanting to rescue Cliffjumper, Optimus Prime feeling guilt for abandoning Cliffjumper. We got all this stuff with Cliffjumper. We get to the end where he rescues Cliffjumper. Then at the end of the book, we don't know what happened to Cliffjumper. He's gone. Like Alita 1's on Cybertron, Optimus Prime makes it back to Earth. What happened to Cliffjumper? Did he die? Did he stay on Cybertron? Did he burn up in the atmosphere? We don't know. I think that's a little weird to like leave that as a cliffhanger of the story.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Also, the Ultra Magnus thing. Like we had the big thing at the end of the last issue where Ultra Magnus just runs off, and it's like, wow, he's got this huge PTSD moment, and we like don't even check in. We don't get any resolution to that either. Like, what happened to him? He's just gone. So
You get one line that's like Wheeljack
yeah.
asking what happened to him, and Optimus saying, "I don't know."
Yeah. So yeah, so I felt that those two things were kind of big plot points that you thought would at least get like. Well, I mean, the Cliffjumper thing was a focus of the issue. This issue, but then it just didn't get resolved at the end. And then the Ultra Magnus thing was like a cliffhanger from the last issue that doesn't get followed up on in this issue. So it seemed kind of weird. Otherwise, I mean, I for the rest of the book, I thought it was fun. I mean, I think again, we're going through we're going through characters like tissue paper here. Like, if you thought James Roberts killed off characters willy nilly, Daniel Warren Johnson is going through characters pretty quickly here. So this issue, we got rid of Shockwave. We've already killed off Ratchet a few issues ago. Jetfire is gone. Yeah, don't get too attached to any characters. Maybe Cliffjumper is gone too. We don't know. We don't know what happened to Cliffjumper. So
Possible Devastator's gone.
I would guess not. I mean, it didn't look like he looked like he was still alive, like his body was still there. I don't know, but that would be disappointing if they did that. But I like that we got the Combaticons, but then the Combaticons kind of fell flat. I mean, we've still got Onslaught and I guess half of Brawl on Earth, and then the other three Combaticons are kind of they seem kind of useless when they couldn't even put up a fight against Optimus Prime. So I still think Prime is the most well written Prime we've had in a long time. I think this Optimus Prime is really spot on. This characterization is, I think, picture perfect. So or pitch perfect, I guess I should say. Yeah, no complaints there. I do want to know what's going on with his visions with the Spike baby. I know that like originally we thought it was due to Sparkplug merging with the Matrix, but these visions are getting weirder and weirder. So I don't know what means there. And that's another plot point that we don't know what Spike is doing. I guess he's just maybe he's the one who convinced Beachcomber to like ride his surfboard up and try to catch Prime, which how would he know that Prime was up there? I don't know. That's another open question, but whatever. I'm still really enjoying this book. Looking forward to it as we go to the next story arc. So, Daryl, what were your thoughts on this issue?
Yeah, honestly, I loved the fight on Earth. The Devastator bit was great. I had forgotten that Devastator had merged, so seeing him all together there was fantastic. I really enjoy the fight scenes there. I thought they were great. Trying to think of any part that I thought was kind of a miss. Like, I liked that Carly thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna help, because she just really needed to get into it because she just felt useless. Yeah, and she did. She helped, right? So, yeah, I'm trying to see here where the the part that kind of got me was kind of near the end. I mean, mostly the entire book. I think the entire book was a fight, right? So, like, everything about it was a battle. The part that got me was at the end with Beachcomber. I don't know what the hell was going on there. And that's kind of where our intro to the show came from, is because Beachcomber kind of became the Silver Surfer for a moment there, just kind of flying up on his surfboard. So what the hell's going on with that? So I kind of I'm going to need a little bit more explanation of what's going on with Beachcomber. But the only other question I kind of had going on with this was the interaction with Alita and Prime. So Prime gets stuck because of Alita on Cybertron, and he's presented with the question of, well, we've got all this ill-gotten energon now that can really do some good. Yeah, we don't like the way that it was gotten, but we have it now. So so can we, let's use it, let's do some good, and let's try and turn the tide of this war. But instead of using it, Prime just blows it up. And not really a fan of that action, on the fact that just even though he blows it up, it doesn't go back to Earth. He just gets rid of it, right? So he's just wasting it.
Well, I think the problem was that the machine was still harvesting the Earth creatures, like the reason because for whatever happened, like the thing that they destroyed on the Earth, on the ocean floor, like didn't
Yeah, the
completely shut
harvester.
down. Yeah, it didn't completely shut down the like sucking up all the Earth creatures. So that was still going. And Alita 1 was like, we're gonna keep draining the Earth's and Earth's energy and continue that process. So that's what she stopped him from, like, shutting it off completely. So there was no way for him to shut it off and keep that energon other than destroying the whole thing. So that was
Gotcha.
the
Well, see,
choice
I
he had
read
to
it
make.
as, the harvester was destroyed, so there was no way the animals and stuff were all, like, that was all done. So he saw these banks of energon filled, and he didn't want that to be used for anything, and that's why he blew them up. I didn't
Yep.
read it as they were still working, because
That's
the
how I read
harvester
it
was
too.
destroyed. So
Well, I mean, it's
I-
confusing. It's definitely ambiguous, but the thing is, like, if you look at the artwork, when Beachcomber is like coming up, like he's not Beachcomber is not just like flying in space. He's actually riding the ocean
he's riding the
waves,
wave, yeah.
and that's because the connection to Cybertron is still like it didn't completely
So
collapse.
so the part on Earth was destroyed, but there was still the stuff that was in transit
Yeah.
that was.
Mm-hmm.
But to Daryl's point, all those creatures are still going to die, regardless of what Optimus does. I mean,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I mean,
I don't
and
know. I just
even in the
I don't know.
like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely ambiguous, but in the dialogue, he says, what does he say? He says, because she says the Earth has so much to give. Look at all the energon we have already. And then energon taken by Shockwave, you're willing to feed Cybertron with the blood of their planet when it's dying of thirst. Yes, you think I want this? You think I wanted to force your hand? So many have died. It has to mean something.
Yeah, that's the part where I the energon taken by Shockwave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's already taken, and it's done. So it's over, right? He stopped
Well,
it.
but he doesn't, like, because he tries to. They were supposed to blow up the Nemesis on Earth to stop everything, and he tries to do that. And she says she never set the charges anyway, so that means the machine is still running, because you see the one panel where the creatures are still being sucked up into the thing. So
Right.
because she's
Yeah.
like, I didn't set the explosives, because she wants to have it keep going and keep supplying energy.
Well, either way, I thought like I thought it was over. It could have been. I guess it could have been written a little better, but either way, um, I can see there's a conundrum for Optimus there. Um, but that leads into Optimus falling to Earth and then getting saved by the Silver Surfer. I mean Beachcomber. So yeah. Yeah, sure he's riding a wave, but it's a definite metaphor for like the Silver Surfer. Like he's just it's wild. So yeah, anyway, I like the book. The art's fantastic. Like that last splash page of like the chunk of Cybertron falling into the ocean is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy amount of detail in there, and I love that. So yeah, kudos to Jorge Corona for the art on this one. It looks fantastic, and yeah, and honestly, I'm not too caught up on the the end of the arc and not like bringing everything together. Like let something spin into the next arc. Like I'm happy to let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine for let things spin into the next arc, but not like the main plot point that you've been focusing on for the last 6 issues. Like, what's going to happen to Cliffjumper? Oh, you'll figure it out in the next issue, I guess, or not.
I have no problem with this. I have absolutely no problem with this.
Well, I do.
I come
That's
from
my opinion.
I come from the era of not everything needs to be wrapped up in a nice little package in 6 issues. So
everything doesn't need to, but you can set up future plots and wrap up current plot. And yeah, I agree with Charles. This one did not do that.
Yeah.
Nope. And I don't care. I buy the individual issues. I don't buy trades.
No, we all do. I mean, that's definitely, this is a modern era issue of 6 issue story arcs, but whatever. All right. Jeremy, you get the last word.
All right. And I'm kind of between both of you guys with my thoughts. That for the most part, I thought the art was good. I did have problems in that beginning fight following exactly what was happening at times. I've had to go through it 2 or 3 times before I really could see what all was happening. There were a lot of coincidences in that, like Carly was able to go just to the right spot to free Cliffjumper in her van, and Beachcomber was in just the right spot to save Optimus. But I mean, it's comics. But the story, I'm hung up like Charles was on. There's too much setup in this. You're promoting this end of an arc, that's in all the promotion, and you don't really get any resolution at all. I mean, Optimus is obviously coming back to Earth, but what state is he in? What state is Cliffjumper in? What's happening to Ultra Magnus? I mean, and there's no way that a sliver of Earth that big, or a sliver of Cybertron that big, crashing into the Earth isn't going to cause catastrophic ecological damage to the entire planet. It's just things like that. I cannot suspend my disbelief when you see the panel that Daryl was talking about that had like the part of Cybertron, coming crashing into Earth that is too big of a piece of the planet to not cause huge damage.
That's extinction level event asteroid size.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it didn't fall that far.
Doesn't matter. But I mean,
it wasn't going that fast.
But
and why isn't G.I. Joe talking about that?
I'm sure they will.
Giant piece of another planet sitting in the ocean.
There's no way the governments are going to be able to hide a huge planet, and then 2, just like a piece of that planet crashing into the Earth. I mean, it'd be like, something happening and a giant hand coming out of the ocean and no one's talking about it.
Mhm.
But we're not here to talk about Marvel stuff. But I don't know. I thought Optimus's characterization was pretty good. And I mean, yeah, he kills Shockwave seemingly, assuming Shockwave's, dead. But they did it in a way where he wasn't really in control of himself as he was doing it. He was having that vision, and clearly you can see his eyes are not, they're purple, they're not blue when he's actually killing Shockwave, and that's telling you that he's not really there in the moment. And then Alita, I mean, I do enjoy the setup there where they're clearly on opposite sides, but I'm also on Daryl's side with the Energon. It's like, it's there. What's it gonna, you can't return it back to Earth. What are you gonna do with it? So I don't know. I don't really agree with that decision, although that was the, mechanism to get Prime back on Earth. So I am surprised we've gone 12 issues without Megatron in the series at all. So clearly that's where we're headed. So I'm hoping we get him sooner than later, but I feel like all these characters need a little bit of a break. They've been through hell.
I mean, I imagine there's some more hell in Optimus Prime's future when Megatron realizes he's using his gun arm. I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine I'm thinking there's going to be a torture scene where he's got Optimus Prime strapped to a table and that he's forcibly removing his arm and taking it back, and then there's more pain to come or something like
Yeah.
that. I imagine that whatever happens to get Megatron back, there's going to be something dramatic to where he
Yeah.
takes that arm back.
I just wish that he would willingly give up the arm before Megatron comes back, just because of what we see in this issue with him saying this is not who I am anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When he is being repaired, maybe he's having Wheeljack remove this arm and figure out some other, maybe he'll have a little bitty Cliffjumper arm instead. But it's I could see him wanting to make that separation from that more violent part.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
The Megatron arm is pretty beat up in the last page too.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an excuse to get rid of it.
It was a very cool scene with him taking out the 3 Combaticons all at once with like an elbow, the ion cannon, and then the fusion cannon. Just that was a great scene. So yeah, still enjoyable. I need to go back and read just 1 to 12 all at once and just see how everything, plays as if it was reading in a trade.
I wonder if you can get a feel of how long, like how much time's passed.
Right. I mean, it doesn't seem like much time has passed.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Now, I think G.I. Joe, the stuff is going to be set 6 months after the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, you would have to think it's going to play into ramifications of this piece of an alien planet now under the ocean, and
I think
going for it.
I think the first 6 issues all happen within the span of like a couple days.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think after issue 6 there's a pause because Spike has time to recover and regain consciousness and be healthy again. So there's probably, I mean, maybe there's been 6 months between issue 6 and issue 7 where this stuff is, but I think between issue 7 and 12 it's again like a very short period of time. It's like a couple days.
Right. The arcs themselves are very quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a pretty good issue. I have my qualms with it, but it's still enjoyable.
Cool. Well, that's all our thoughts on Transformers number 12. Everyone who's following along with us, what are your thoughts on these comics? What are your thoughts on a year of Skybound's Transformers comic? Are you looking forward to more? And have you been enjoying these last few issues, or this last year of issues? I mean, we got the 2 Eisner Awards. That was mentioned in the letters pages of this comic, because it was I think they must have just heard about that when they were producing this issue. So that was surprising. I don't think we've ever had a Transformers series get Eisner Awards. So that's a cool accomplishment that these comics have achieved. Also, the sales, I think, are up compared to what they were at IDW. So that's always good to continue to get more Transformers comics, as long as the things are selling. That's always good.
Yeah, I don't know if we've commented, but the name of the letters comics or letters column, Matrix of Lettership, that's an awesome name.
Yeah. They had I think they were soliciting ideas, and somebody wrote in with that. So kudos to that person who christened the letters column. So one thing I do miss is the issues don't get titles. Like, none of the issues get individual episode titles. So I miss that, but whatever. It's a nitpick. All right, well, that's our review of Transformers number 12, and we will move on to some media news.
All right. It's my time to shine now. Media news this week. The classifications for we got some new Transformers games coming. We got some listings for we got 2 entries for Microsoft Studios, and they're both showing as 2024 year of productions, and one is an original and one is a modified. They're both being rated as PG. There's not really anything else here. There's a lot of people are talking about this online, hoping that we'll see like the War for Fall of Cybertron games come back, or something in that vein. I mean, anybody who's played those knows how awesome they are. I would just like maybe a continuation of that, something in that universe, maybe, because those games are like 15 years old now. Like, let's
Something that would erase the Darkspark game.
Yeah, or maybe do something in the Devastation world. Like, those were
Yeah.
awesome. Something like that. They're great games. Don't get me wrong, but they are 15 years old at this point. So let's
there is one, like, there is something that says that the Steam CD keys for several of the Activision Transformer games were updated, and I will say a couple months ago, I did see on Amazon I could buy the Steam key for Fall of Cybertron, and I had War 4 on Steam and Fall of on Xbox 360, and so I took a shot and bought that key, and it activated just fine on Steam. So maybe things have been in the works for a while, and you couldn't buy it on Steam itself, but I bought it on Amazon and the code worked.
Cool. Yeah, I've got Fall of and War for I think it's PS3. So I don't know if those are backwards compatible on my PS5, but
they are not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Worth a shot. I'm gonna try. So anyway, but I still have my PS3, so I'll play it there if I need to. Anyway, moving on. We have a new Transformers game coming out. This one is, I don't believe this is in that description that we were just talking about. This is something else entirely. This is Transformers Galactic Trials, and we got a gameplay trailer this past week, and so you can check that out. We got a link in the show notes, or you can just kind of look it up on YouTube. It's there, and it's it looks kind of fun. I remember watching this. This is gameplay footage, so no cinematics in here. But yeah, it looks kind of fun, and this is going to be coming out in on consoles and on Steam. I don't think it's going to be on any kind of mobile device, but yeah, it's more of a console and computer game. So yeah, look for it there. But take a look at the trailer. It looks pretty good. Looks like you're able to run around and you're able to transform, and looks like a third-person shooter mostly, level based with a boss, like a end boss and stuff like that. Yeah, the graphics don't look too great for for 2024 type games, but whatever. It's a Transformers game, and yeah. So yeah, PS5, PS4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. So if you've got one of those, you're in luck.
Looks like it's one of those heavy multiplayer games.
Oh yeah. Next up, there is a Humble Bundle. So we've talked about these before in regards to the comic books. IDW was real fond of these things back in the day. And now we're seeing a Humble Bundle for the Transformers role-playing game. So you can get a book bundle. And this is, you can get 2-item bundle, 5-item bundle, 10-item bundle, or an entire 15-item bundle. So yeah, it's pretty good. If you're really into this role-playing game, there are a whole bunch of things you can get here. And yeah, the Humble Bundle is pretty good. Yeah, pretty cool.
Shout out to Wolfwood, aka Frenzy as Red, on the Discord. They put that in the gaming channel, and I saw that. I was not aware of this, so found that news item there. So thank you for that tip.
Yeah, right on.
I'm sure Mike will be happy about this.
Yeah. I mean,
Mike has them all already.
Well, but you can get like the dice bag and dice, and looks like there's some physical books and bonus content.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, you normally it's only digital stuff that you get from Humble Bundle, so it's rare that you get physical products too.
You can get this Game Master screen. I'm sure Mike would love to have that go in front of him.
Mm-hmm. We've got a couple of YouTube interviews celebrating the 40th anniversary. We've had a couple of these before. I think we talked about them last week, maybe the week before. This first one is an interview with Frank Todaro, and sure, he's one of the newer voices, but he has been voicing Starscream in a bunch of the newer iterations of Transformers, and he's been doing a really good job. So definitely, I think we all kind of heard about him or started seeing him in the Prime Wars trilogy, and so yeah, he's kind of become the new voice of Starscream. So that's really good, and it's nice to see a guy who really kind of started off in the world of YouTube, kind of get recognized and make it big. So that's good. Well done, Frank. And then the next one is Arif Kitchen. And he's the voice of Jazz in Transformers 1. And I don't really know him from anything else.
He was in Cyberverse, I believe.
Well, was he? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
I think it was Jazz there too.
Oh, right on. I have not seen Jazz in Cyberverse, so spoilers. There you go.
Well, I don't know if it was Cyberverse. I just know he's done actual show before.
He did the G1 cast reading that was in theaters a few months ago.
That's what all these interviews were from. They're all wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's another interview there. Again, so him and Frank are both kind of taking the spot of voice actors who have passed away. But yeah, they're doing their best to kind of replace those legacy voices, I guess. You know, it's a tough gig replacing somebody who passed away. The next one we have is the entire or complete first season of Transformers Generation 1 is on YouTube now through the Hasbro Pulse channel. So, and it's all in one shot. So you don't have to watch different different videos. You can just start it and let her fly. And if you have a YouTube premium membership, then you don't have any commercials. Then that'd be nice. So you don't have to stop and get ads played. So yeah, the entire first season of Transformers Generation 1 is 6 hours and 9 minutes long, which is kind of crazy. I didn't think it would be that long.
16 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
The bad thing though, these are out of order. They're in, I think maybe
really?
they're in production order.
Is that the order that the Rhino DVDs are in?
Probably. I don't know.
That's the version that they've been using for a lot of this.
Okay.
Extra sound effects.
Oh yeah, that's disappointing. I don't like that version, but yeah. So like, Fire in the Sky is like towards the end, and so you've got like you've got they're just out of order. They're all out of order. I thought Heavy Metal War was the last episode of season 1, and that's like in the middle somewhere. So.
Okay.
Oh, and
going back, no chapter breaks either. It would have been nice to have chapter breaks for the episodes. They don't do that.
Yeah. And going back, Arth Genshin voiced Jazz in Robots in the Skies, and the one.
Okay.
2005 one.
15.
Or 15, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Some Transformers 1 news here. We've got some another crossover. We love our collaborations, and so Transformers 1 and a Australian ice cream company, Gelatimiso, or I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It's an Australian ice cream company.
Gelatissimo.
Yeah, that's very Australian.
Well, gelato is Italian, so you know they're Italian immigrants in Australia.
Yes. And so yeah, they are introducing 4 new flavors of ice cream that are set to launch a number of days ago, September 6th. So they are Optimus Prime's Red Velvet Matrix. Whoa. Megatron's Mega Cookie Explosion. Bumblebee's Honeycomb Hero. And Alita's Bubblegum Blast. If you didn't know that these were ice cream flavors, you could definitely think there was a sexual nature to them. Just saying. Yeah.
It looks good. I want to try some.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Oh, you mean the ice cream? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, if you're in Australia and you have one of these crazy Italian ice cream places near you, give it a shot. Let us know. Anyway, moving on. There's a music video for Transformers 1 for the song If I Fall. And I don't know anything about this song. If there was only somebody on the show who recognized this music that we could ask about.
Let me listen to it. I have it muted on the stream because we are not playing the music from anything current.
I mean, I listened to it. It's hip hop pop music.
Yeah, I don't recognize it.
I mean, look,
probably from the ending credits or something like that.
Probably.
You know, I mean, Daryl, you know, I'm old, so I don't recognize any of these artists. So
well, so yeah, most of the music
Vanilla
in the
Ice?
movie.
Is this Vanilla Ice?
No. So, Brian Tyler, was it Brian? No. Yeah. The guy that did Transformers Prime score is the one that did the music for the movie. So this is probably in the credits when I wasn't paying attention to the music and I was talking to people about
Gotcha.
how awesome the movie was.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a new music video and you can check it out. The music video is by Quavo, Ty Dolla Sign. Sounds so white right now. And Are We Dreamin'?
They do name drop Optimus, Megatron, and Bumblebee in the song, so it is definitely a tie-in song for the movie.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm moving on. Transformers 1 official merch for theaters in Japan, and there's a bunch of stuff here. Movie posters, pins, keychains, t-shirts, statues, crazy crap, bags. Yeah, so take a look at this if you are in Japan. This is stuff we won't get here in North America. Moving on.
We get stupid looking popcorn buckets.
Yeah. Another collaboration with Transformers and Roblox, Drive World. I know my daughter plays Roblox. I don't know if this is something that she'll see. I'm sure if she sees it, I'll hear about it.
Well, it's one game, and like Roblox is a platform, and then you can get lots of like people make their own games, and also companies produce games in the Roblox engine. But the whole Roblox platform is like thousands of games that people play. So this is one game, Drive World, that's in the Roblox platform.
Okay. Well, there you go. Take a look at this Drive World if you are or play Roblox, or if you have a kid who plays it, tell them to check it out. Neat. I'll mention it to my daughter, see if she can find it. And the last thing we have before I can shut up is a post on Twitter, and it's an exclusive look at Transformers 1. And yeah, I don't know if Jeremy's playing it. Probably
I'm not. I don't really want to do spoil.
Right, of course. I mean, it's boring. You've seen it already, so why?
Well, it's a funny little scene, but also I don't know if playing any of this would get us taken off YouTube or whatever. So
gotcha. Yeah, it's just something about another clip from the movie, and it's from IMDb at this point. So everyone's the marketing train is really just chugging at full speed at this point. It comes out next week. Yeah, there's the early screenings are all over the place on September 14th. It comes out officially on like the 18th, I think, and then the 20th. Like that whole weekend is going to be Transformers 1. So yeah.
Almost like there's a Transformers Day in there too, somewhere.
Yeah, wild.
But as of today, I'm free to talk spoilers. The embargo was the 12th, but I'm not going to do it right now because
our embargo is way past that, Jeremy. So you're not free of our embargo yet.
That's right.
I mean, you won't believe it when Captain America shows up and what he does with the Matrix of Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
He opens it, he pulls it on it, and it opens a little bit, and then it shuts.
He's like, Autobots, assemble.
All right. Well, I hope. I know there are early screenings for Transformers 1 this weekend. So as you're listening to this on tomorrow, Saturday, there are opening early screenings for Transformers 1. I am going to one in my local area. I believe Daryl has gotten tickets for his. So
not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
No, I was hoping to go with my daughter, but she's going to a Comic-Con now. So if I'm going solo.
Cool. So, I mean, of course, we won't spoil things for everyone else who doesn't get a chance to see it early. So we will have a major discussion about it after the 20th. So look forward to our deep dive in Transformers 1 sometime after September 20th.
You can always do a
Don't know
reaction video like I did with no spoilers.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, looking forward to it. All right, we'll continue on with the show. Let's finish up with some feedback. All right, we've got some comments on YouTube from last week's Alt Mode episode 406. First comment from Far Strider. These comments are both related to I was talking about Storm Shadow with Excalibur, because in the Scarlet comic we reviewed last week, Storm Shadow got the Sword of Life, which I thought that was a reference to G.I. Joe. And I remembered I had vague memories of Storm Shadow fighting Snake Eyes with Excalibur, but I was actually wrong about that. But yeah, so Far Strider says Storm Shadow was the one wielding Excalibur. And yes, I did find the G.I. Joe episode on YouTube of when Storm Shadow found Excalibur. He was fighting the Joes. He crashed his plane in the lake in England, and then just grabbed the sword from the Lady of the Lake. Like the Lady of the Lake just watched him take it. I don't know why she didn't stop him, but Snake Eyes wasn't even in that episode, so I don't know why. I guess my brain just figured Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes were always fighting. So I did. I just went ahead and watched the whole episode on YouTube, and yeah, I did see like the things I remembered was Storm Shadow slicing through stone columns with a sword. So I did remember that correctly, and it was there. And the episode was titled Excalibur, which is funny because then Stuart 118, our regular commenter, also had a comment. He said Excalibur sure gets around. Didn't the Sword of Omens go up against Excalibur as well? Apologies for that not being Transformers related. And yes, I found that episode on Daily Motion, and that was also titled Excalibur. So both these shows were out in 1985. Both episodes were titled Excalibur. This one was Lion-O with the Sword of Omens fighting. Mum-Ra had disguised himself as King Arthur, and as disguised as King Arthur, convinced the Lady of the Lake to give him Excalibur. And that's why they were fighting. And Excalibur actually stabs the Sword of Omens in the eye of Thundera, and that that weakens all the Thundercats. So it was fun. I got a little bit of nostalgia hit watching both these episodes back to back, the G.I. Joe and Thundercats. So
it was like a Saturday morning for you.
Yeah. So thank you to our commenters for letting me get a little nostalgia fix from your comment. So maybe we'll keep the put links to these episodes in the show notes so everyone can check them out if you're interested. So
I'd be interested to know how, because I'm assuming because Excalibur is in the public domain, it can be used by anybody at any point in time.
Yep.
So I'd be interested to know how many cartoons used Excalibur. Like, there was the Transformers episode, the G1 one, where they went back to like medieval times. Yeah, it was King Arthur's castle, right? Like, did Excalibur appear in that one too?
I think they didn't make it, like, they didn't make it clear if that was really the real King Arthur, and we didn't see. I don't remember Excalibur featuring in that episode. I have to go now. I have to go back and watch a Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's court. Now I gotta see.
I'd be interested to know because of that, because of it just being so readily available to all the writers in the 80s there.
Yeah.
How many actual shows featured Excalibur? I mean,
although
obviously,
I do have to complain a little bit that the writers didn't get creative with the title of the episode. They just named it Excalibur.
That just made it easy for you to find.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was obviously the Disney movie, The Sword and the Stone, that was Excalibur too, right? So,
yep. Yeah, and Disney, of course, is built on public domain fairy tales. So,
Yeah. Well, not after they make it, right? Like it's theirs.
No, then
Yeah.
then they own it. After they take the public domain story, they own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, Farstrider and Stewart 118 for writing in, and yeah, thanks for correcting my memory from 40 years ago. So that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. And of course, as always, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forks Levengood, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. So that's it. And thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.